in Philippe de Chérizy's own hand.
De Philippe de Chérizy. Voici donc un document.
Here is an unpublished manuscript called Stone and Paper. It's written by Philippe de Chérizy.
Et dans ce document qui fait 44 pages,
and this 44-page document describes how the parchments were fabricated, how the ciphers were set, and how they can be decoded.
Des parchemins.
This is how de Chérizy solves the riddle he himself created. According to him, 681 is not a spot height or the corner of a square. In fact, de Chérizy never mentions occult geometry. He says 681 was the year in which King Dagobert was killed. The shepherdess is not an armchair. De Chérizy says he is alluding to a local legend about a shepherd who fell down a hole and found a crock of gold. Poussin, he says, is not the painter, but a play on words. In French, Poussin means a chicken, and Haute Poule, the name of the local aristocrat, could be translated as big chicken. The cross is indeed the cross, the one near the railway bridge. But the horse of God, le cheval de Dieu, is another play on words. It's not a bridge.
Cheval de Dieu.
Cheval de Dieu is a double allusion to the Cabal of Chérizy. It's phonetic. Cheval, cabal, cabal, cheval.
Blue apples are not grapes or the blood of Christ, but another Masonic in-joke, part of a rambling document full of puns and anagrams by a man who calls himself the prankster.
It explains how it was conceived, how it was made, and then, surprise, surprise, on page 25 we come across the sentence, "This is the signature of the artist."
C'est-à-dire moi,
me,
Philippe de Chérizy.
Philippe de Chérizy.
There are certain historical problems, of which the Turin Shroud is one, in which there is fantastic fascination with the topic, but a historical vacuum, a lack of solid evidence. And where there's a vacuum, nature abhors a vacuum, and historical speculation abhors vacuums, and it all floods in. But what you end up with is almost nothing tangible or solid. You start from a hypothesis, and that is then deemed to be demonstrated more or less by stating the speculation. You then put another speculation on top of that, and you end up with this great tower of hypotheses and speculations. And if you say, where are the rocks underneath this, they're not there. And it's like the house on sand. It washes away as soon as you ask really hard questions of it.
We put de Chérizy's claim that he wrote the parchments to Andrews and Schellenberger, who say their book does consider the possibility that the riddle was composed in recent times, but this does not undermine their thesis. They insist the geometry they see in Poussin and elsewhere predates any modern forgery, if forgery is the right word. For if de Chérizy was indeed the author of the riddle, they believe he must himself have been an initiate, a member perhaps of the Priory of Zion, passing on the secret knowledge.
There is something called historical evidence, there is something called the historical method, and if you look around the shelves of bookshops, there's a lot of history being published, and people mistake this kind of history for the real thing. These kind of books do appeal to an enormous audience who believe them to be history, but actually they aren't history. They are a kind of parody of history. Alas, though, I think one has to say that this is the direction history is going today.
10 years of research into the obscure byways of history. 10 years of discoveries and false leads, of excitement and irrelevancies. So much mystery, treasure, ciphers, heresies. So many intangible maybes.